you know what? I told the story before actually when I was first starting out being a journal. One of the first events I covered was a Sapura event. It went by a different name then, but I met Tan Sri Shahril. And he always struck me as somebody who's very enigmatic, very charismatic, born into this business. And he's always had a very clear picture for Sapura, even when it went with Kencana and so on and so forth. But we interviewed him, you guys interviewed him recently, and it's a very interesting time for Sapura because it always seems to me that they're trying to not justify their existence, but they're trying to prove themselves as a company. So when you when you talked to him, what was your impression of him? Is he still sort of, I won't say defiant, but he's still very driven as to where he thinks Sapura will go?
Yeah, I would say he's very driven, based on the interview that we were at, and trying to prove the company is also what he and the team is trying to do. I would say, sort of like selling the company at this point in time, because so many criticism against the team, which is justified, but at the same time. There's a growth or there's a recovery story that Tan Sri would like to share with everyone. Prospects for the oil and gas industry environment is actually good, in the few years that are coming, because of the fact that the underinvestment that has happened over the last decade is, it's heading for a critical mass.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what the team is banking on. I think at this point in time, the question is whether the company can tahan and can last until the phase of until they can actually capture the upcycle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when you say they can last, what does he mean by that?
Well, he didn't say that. He's saying that the company is not a company in trouble, right? Okay, so they have the assets that they are bringing in cash, they have the cash flow. This is what Tan Sri is saying. So when the upcycle comes, the company is already in a position to capture it. They have the technical capabilities. They are already qualified, but as a contractor, and they have actually opened up these markets in the in other parts of the world. So it's just a matter for Tan Sri, it's just a matter of when the jobs come in.
We pointed out that a lot of the analyst coverage seems to be very downbeat on them, and some for certain reasons, citing a whole bunch. You can read it. But what was his answer to the analysts?
Well, okay, let's wrap it up a bit. For the analysts or maybe the investors, the concern is, Sapura has had this growth story for a few years now, and they have not been able to do it, maybe for internal reasons or the market environment itself. There are two things, right? An expanded balance sheet, and then there are no jobs from the business side. So the understanding is that there's more to the company than what the analyst understands, in the sense that they have all these big assets. Just how big the company is in terms of their operations and versus their competitors. This is what I believe Tan Sri thinks that the investing fraternity should have a concentrate on. Yes. At the same time, the returns that the company is giving back to the country, but that happens to a lot of companies who have projects overseas.
Because this man does not think in a year.
Yes.
He thinks further, much further than that. I mean, that's what visionaries are supposed to do, right? So what is it that he sees in the future of Sapura? Because they just had a first quarter where they're profitable. So what is the factors he thinks the company has that will help it capture the cycle when it goes back up?
And when they were positioning themselves for the upcycle did not happen as soon as they expected it to be. We always talk about the prolonged downturn, right? And it's extended for another 1 or 2 years because of the oil price crash in 2020, which is this year. So there are so many other factors, like for example the entry of PNB as a major shareholder. the bad news that it keeps coming in terms of the market environment, and then the expectation from the analysts or the investors that has not come in after so many years, right? So of course the company, how do I say this? Maybe the company is being traded at a discount, the share price at this point in time, definitely.
It's what, 9 cents, 8 cents? I mean, but fundamentally it's actually worth more, right? Even if you own stock and sell the entire company, it's going to be worth more than that. But sentiment does kind of play a big part. And you touched on something which I did think is going to be interesting. So PNB is there now. What comment did he have on them as a shareholder, the expectations, the pressure it puts on?
Basically, what he's saying is that he has no difficulty with PNB. PNB saw the investment case and entered, so they should be long term as well, right? This is a capital intensive business, and it takes a long time for the returns to come in, but when they come in, it will be kind of big profits.
Did he seem like a man who was worried or hopeful? Or worriedly hopeful?
Well, I would say he's persistent. I can't say whether he's worried or hopeful, but I would say he's persistent. Yeah. And I mean, after gauging so many things, I think that's a decision that you have to continue. It's a decision that you have to be firm on, and you cannot look back.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.